just find yourself your way into like a plank. So shoulders are roughly above the hands on the chair and body's out long. You could have a bend in the knees, that's fine. Think about just stretching out, being long from the heels out through the top of the head. Okay? So from this plank position, we're going to think about a pulling back of the hips back into a downward dog. So yes, the arms are going to push, but I also want you to think about from the glute medians here, which attach to the outside top of the pelvis and the greater trochanter, like they're contracting and pulling the hips back into that down dog shape. Again, knees can be bent or legs can be straight. And then you're going to let go of the slingshot of the hips and find your way back into plank. Okay, one more time. You're going to pull back from the hips and then find your way back into plank. Now, once you're in plank, let's just lift the toes and the heels at the same time. And then we're going to bring one knee towards the same elbow. But when you do that, I want you to think of the toes clawing and the heel lifting of that leg to bring the knee to the elbow. And then back to plank, hips pull us back into that down dog shape. Okay? Find your way back into plank. Once you arrive there, think toes lift, heels lift. And then the other side, knee to elbow, think toes claw, heel lift to bring that knee up. Bring the foot back to the ground. Pull those hips back. Good. Find your way back into that plank. As you get lined up, think toes and heels both lifting away from one another. And then claw the toes, lift the heel. This time knee comes between the hands. Back to the floor, hips pull back. We're going to do that on the other side. So just moving through with your time. And then we'll meet back in downward dog. Pull those hips back. Good, okay? Then you're going to come back to plank. Lift the toes and heels once you arrive in plank. And this time that knee is going to come to the opposite wrist. Think claw the toes, lift the heel to bring that knee to the opposite wrist, elbow. And then back to the floor, pull the hips back. Okay, we're going to do one more time on that other side. Toes and heels lift. Outside of that wrist. Actually, I think we just did that one side, so we'll count down on that other side. We started with the wrist. Back to that plank, toes and heels up. Come between the hands with that side. Claw the toes, lift the heel. One more time, plank. This time, same knee, same wrist, elbow. Plank. Pull the hips back, downward dog. This time we're going to walk the feet towards the chair. Let the head rest on the chair. Let your head rest on the chair, and then we're going to roll up vertebra by vertebra. Just standing behind our chair for a second. Okay. Any questions about that? We're going to go through it again, but we're going to add a piece on. Everybody's good? Debbie, we match. We've got the same color tone today. Okay, so the piece we're going to add on is once we go from plank and we bring the knee up and we find our way to down dog, as we get into down dog, we're going to add a reach to the opposite ankle, then to the opposite knee, then to the opposite hip. Okay, or you can stay with whichever body part of those three that is feeling good for you today. on the twist to that side, okay? So we're just gonna flow between plank, knee forward, down dog, add the reach, okay? So the knee will start on the same side and end up on the opposite side. The reach is always gonna be to the opposite ankle, knee, or hip. Okay, so find your way into your plank here. Lift the toes and the heels away from one another. And then pick which side you're going to start with. You're going to claw the toes, lift the heel as you bring it to the same wrist or elbow. Reach it back, pull the hips back, down dog. As you get the weight back towards the legs, you're going to reach that same hand as we drew the knee towards the opposite ankle, knee, or hip. Find your way back into plank. Toes up, heels up, claw the toes, lift the knee, lift the heel, knee comes between the hands. Shift back, downward dog. This time the other side, we're reaching the outside of that ankle. Find your way to plank, lift the toes and heels, claw the toes, opposite. Pull the hips back, down dog. Back to that first side, reach to the ankle, knee or hip. Find your way back to plank. Other side, knee to wrist or elbow. Pull the hips back. Opposite ankle, knee, or hip with that reach. Between the hands. So if I keep talking, I'm going to screw us up, so just keep flowing through those. And know that if you go the wrong way, it's okay. Yes, Daniel? Okay, thanks, bud. Once you finish the 3 knees to the opposite wrist, you finish that sequence, you go to down dog. We're going to walk the feet to the chair, release the head down, and roll yourself up. Okay, we're going to add on one more. So knee comes forward. This will, actually no, it won't put us out of sequence. So we go from plank, knee comes forward, we go back downward dog with a reach. Hands come back, stay in that downward dog. The next time when the knee comes between the hands, we're going to place that foot on the ground. So whenever the knee comes between the hands, that's our cue to come into this high lunge here, okay? We'll transfer our weight into the front leg, find, I'm gonna teach this piece and then we'll flow through it. When the weight comes onto that front leg, bring your hand up onto that hip. So we're in this lunge. As the weight shifts onto that leg, think of from the hip down to the foot, the hip kind of pressing forward and down. So you'll feel the heel get a little lighter, but your ankle kind of what I call set. So you'll feel very secure in the foot and ankle, opposed to if you just take the weight onto that leg and leave the heel there and think of lifting this leg, there's a lot more wobbliness. Just try those two, where the leg's in front, we shift the weight onto it, and you just leave the foot flat on the floor and lift that back leg. You'll feel a lot of work in the leg, but it kind of jumps all over and is jumbled, is how I describe it. Opposed to as we shift that weight into that leg from this hip, there's a sense of a push forward and down, squishing the foot, the ball of the foot specifically, into the floor. The heel will get a little lighter. It'll still be work, but there's less kind of wobble, I call it. It feels like this leg helps hold this leg up. Everybody finding that sense of that ankle set and the distinction between the two? Yeah, okay, great. If you're having trouble, the other thing that can help is notice if you're trying to have your foot straight. And some of us are going to do better with letting the foot turn out a little bit. So let it turn out a little bit and find that forward down press kind of from the hip. And it's also, you'll feel more pressure on the inside of the ankle when it sets. Almost like this calf muscle stuff is trying to yaw inward. Okay, so once that ankle gets set, we just find a low warrior 3. Keep that ankle set. Think of just pushing from the hip forward and down as you move from warrior 3 into extend or half moon. So you're just turning to the long edge of your mat. So from here, this back leg doesn't need to go up high. It's low, doesn't need to go up high. And we're going to try it another way, because with that leg out, it's a really long lever. So as that ankle sets, warrior 3, maybe the leg comes in, you keep that ankle set, open up, and reach out. So if you find the leg fully extended, it's hard to control it at that foot and ankle on a stance leg. Curl it in, knee to the chest, come to position, and then stretch it out. Okay, so it's not going to be pretty. It's going to be what it is. Some of us are going to stumble off of our mat, and then we'll just come back. Okay? Nice, Debbie. Yeah, nice. Okay, so that's what's going to happen when the leg comes between the wrists. Otherwise, everything else is going to stay the same. Okay? So once we go to that half moon here, then we come back, knee comes up, we just resume where we were. Okay? Make sense? So find that plank. Think of toes and heels lifting up. Pick a side you're going to start with. Okay? You're going to bring and claw the toes, lift the heel, bring that knee to the same elbow. Pull the hips back. Down dog, reach to the opposite side of the outside of that ankle near hip. Find plank, toes, heels up. Claw the toes, lift the heel. Come to that low lunge. Okay? Take a second as the weight shifts onto that leg. From the hip forward and down to set that ankle. And then from that standing scale, kind of warrior 3, you'll move to half moon. Can you keep your hand on the chair? Okay. Find your way back. Pull the hips back, down dog, reaching to the outside of that other ankle. Plank, toes up, heels up. Claw the toes, lift the heel, opposite wrist. Pull the hips back, down dog. So now we're to the other side. Pull the hips back. Claw the toes, lift the heel. Knee comes between the hands. Find the ground with that foot. Set yourself into lunge. Shift your weight onto that front leg. Set that ankle. Think of that push forward and down from the hip. Okay, if you want, draw the knee into the chest as you take it to half moon, open up towards the outside edge of the mat, and then reach that leg out long. And then we're going to turn it back. Find that lunge, knee comes up, Little momentary plank, and then down dog. Reach the outside of that ankle. Toes and knees up. Knee to the opposite. Wrist and ankle. Down dog. Find your way to plank. Back to down dog. Let's walk those feet to the chair. Let the upper body hang and be supported on the legs. Roll yourself back up. Okay, how do we do there? Good, okay. Okay. Okay, we can scoot our chair to the side. We're gonna work with that ankle set in some different ways. Thanks, Deb. In some different ways with some balance poses. Okay, so let's just come with feet next to one another. I like to bring the hands onto the hips. Just notice if in standing here, you've got a lot of weight in your heels. Like, where's the weight in your feet? Okay. See if you can find some more weight into the transverse arch at the front, or the ball of the foot, and the longitudinal arch on the outside of the foot. So like this area and this area, if my hand was a foot, that is. Less on the heel. So the skin of the heel is still on the ground, but it's not like the bone of the heel is pressing down into the floor. Okay? Just like we did when we were in that single leg stance, have this sense of from the hips, we're going to have a little push forward and down. And you'll feel how that like sets you in that athletic stance a little bit and does what I call sets the ankle. Okay? From here, we're going to take and shift into one leg. Again, once you're there, really reiterate that sort of forward and down action. And this, I call it a kind of a spiraling or a yawing. Like if my calf muscle was a tongue, it's like, and my calf was an ice cream cone, it's like licking down to the inside of my ankle. That calf muscle is like setting in down there. We're going to take that leg that's free and bring that heel back behind our other heel and out to the side. It's going to come behind that other heel, out to the side. So we're just kind of swooping the heel behind the other heel a couple of times. The next time it comes out, we're going to find some shape that looks like tree with that leg on the stance leg. And then we're going to come back down to the floor. It's a lot of work for this ankle stuff. Okay? So you should be feeling like there's work in the foot happening, work in the ankle happening. Let me know if you're feeling it in your knee though. Okay? Because we want to set the ankle differently then. So come back to that stance position. Think of that action of forward and down from the hips into those feet. We're going to take one foot off. Just kind of swooping that heel behind the other heel. The next time you swoop it and it comes forward, find a shape, catch yourself in something like tree. It's where the foot comes to that stance leg. Good. Keep that sense of forward and down from that stance hip. It's like that foot we're standing on is really getting squished between our center of mass and the floor. And then come back to standing. Okay? This time, just from standing here, pick one leg up and go into tree. I mean, it's okay. I don't have anywhere to focus. I'm just kind of there. And then come back to standing and come up into tree on the other side. It's better than it would have been if we hadn't done the tree the way we did before. Okay, let that go. So we're going to come in one more time with that sweeping the heel behind the heel. But this time, so we'll set the ankle, we'll sweep the heel. This time as the leg comes around and is going to find that stance leg, I want you to catch your foot and help place it up higher than it was on the stance leg the last time we did it. Okay? So we're doing everything we did before, but as it comes around, you're going to catch it and help place it higher up on that leg. Okay. So in standing, find that little push forward and down from the hip to set those ankles. You'll feel like a reach of the inner heel almost. Okay, shift your weight onto whatever leg, and you're going to swoop that heel behind and out to the side a couple times. Okay, crouch down, and when you're ready, and it comes out, you're going to catch it and place it on that leg. That ankle set. Think of the foot and the leg pushing into one another like magnets that stick together, not repel. Don't let that go. There's one side that they stick together, and then one side, I remember, they push apart. I'm like, we don't want that side. Okay, so we're going to go through that same thing on the other side. So find and set that ankle. Play with the heel behind the other heel. Just swoop it, like make it swirly. And then when you're ready, when it comes out, catch it. Find that standing leg. Woo, toppling tree. Okay, and then come on out. Just stand, or you can walk around your space a little bit. Okay, so we're going to do everything the same, but instead of coming into tree for this last one, when we swoop the heel, and then when we catch that foot, when it comes out here, we're catching the foot with the hand. And we can either stay here once we've caught it, or then once we caught it with that ankle set, we'll lift that leg, okay? So instead of tree, I forget what that one's called. It's not Bird of Paradise, because that's got the bind. I don't know. I think that's head to toe, big toe pose or something. Okay, so pick whichever leg you want to start on. We're going to set that ankle. With this leg, when it comes up, think of lifting the toes and heel, or whichever variation of what you did with the foot helped when you did the knees up at the start of class. So this leg, when you go to catch it with the hand and then take it up, the take it up part, do whatever you did with the toes and the heel on this leg that worked well for you at the start of class. Okay, that ankle set, heel behind, heel behind. When you're ready, catch it, do the toes. Okay, and then come on out of it. Go to the other side. Set that ankle, heel behind, heel behind, heel behind. Whenever you're ready, catch it. On in and come on out. Good. Well done. Nice. And as you're settling in, deciding whether, okay, I'm good, I'm not good, just kind of ask yourself, like, is there some other kindness you could extend to yourself here that would have you be 5 to 10% more comfortable? For me, that's taking off my glasses. And be aware of my voice and the sounds of the room you're in. And then let your attention move to feeling your body on the surface it rests. Sensations of pressure or tingling or numbness, warmth or coolness. The cats know it's Shavasana. They've come to join us. Hi, OJ. And then bring your attention into your breath in and your breath out. And let the edges of your attention soften, diffuse, and expand. Let your attention start to come back into noticing your breath. The air moves in and out. And of your body as it rests on the support, the surface that it's on. Noticing sensations of pressure, numbness, tingling, warmth, coolness, sound of my voice, and in the room and space where you are. Gently start to bring movement back to the body. That might be by way of wiggling fingers and toes, or gently rolling the head side to side, or stretching the legs and arms out long, curling into a ball. But just take the next few moments to bring movement back in a way that feels luxurious for you today, that lets you just linger a little bit. Hey, buddy. And then as you bring movement back to the body, we'll make our way onto our side. And again, let yourself linger there for a moment or two before you use your arm and hand to make your way up to a seated position. Maybe as we make our way up to seated, we let the head sort of be the last thing to roll on top. Hey, OJ. Hi, buddy. Hi. You want to do some yoga? Oh, yeah. Some spins? Oh, yeah. Hi, bud. Cat came in and joined us, so you can let the hands rest in your lap, or the palms could come together just to the left side of the breastbone before the heart in Anjali Mudra. Let's let the gaze just stay a little bit internal. Breathing in with ease and exhaling just with a sense of okayness. Om Shanti Shanti, peace. Hi, buddy. Oh, yeah. Hi. Oh, yeah. Belly rubs. Belly rubs. Okay, I will stick around for a few minutes if you've got questions or you want to connect, and otherwise we'll see you guys next week. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Hi.